Some say that raising the minimum wage would actually hurt the economy and small businesses, while others say it's the help that low-wage workers need. Loyola University economic professor Dr. Gουόλτερ Μπλοκ is here to talk about how a higher minimum wage would affect the economy. But let's start with the bigger question, which you say, should there be a higher minimum wage or minimum wage at all?
Oh, I don't think there should be a higher one, and I don't think it should stay where it is. I think, and I don't even think it should be reduced. I think it should be eliminated entirely.
So how does that work?
Well, you just pass a law saying no more minimum wage, I guess.
Yeah.
At one time, I think in 1937 they started it. I forget the year, somewhere in the 30s. And before that, we didn't have any. So I say let's turn back the clock and go back to a situation where there was no minimum wage.
And are you afraid that low-wage workers would get paid even less than they're paid now?
No, I'm not afraid of that at all. What I'm happy about is that all the unemployed workers who are unemployed by it will now get jobs. See, the minimum wage law is not an employment law. It doesn't raise wages. It's an unemployment law, and it creates unemployment. Look, minimum wage law just says, let's say the new one, $10 an hour.
Okay, yeah.
It says that if you hire me, you have to pay me $10 an hour. Does it say you have to hire me?
No.
No. It doesn't say that anyone has to hire anyone. It just says if you hire me, you have to pay me $10 an hour. But suppose I'm only worth $9 an hour, in the sense that if you have me, you'll get $9 an hour more in your bottom line for every hour you got me. But you got to pay me 10. You going to hire me?
Not if you don't want to pay you $10 an hour.
Well, you're going to have to pay me 10, otherwise you go to jail.
Right.
But you don't have to hire me, right? But if you hire me, I'm only worth 9 to you. I'll only add 9 to your bottom line, but you'll have to pay me 10, so you lose $1 an hour. And if you're a profit-seeking entrepreneur, you're not going to be happy with that. And also, if you do it, you're going to go broke, and then you're not going to be able to hire anyone. So if a $10 an hour minimum wage will unemploy $9 an hour people with productivity of $9 an hour, well, our present one is $7.25. What does that do to someone who's worth only $6 an hour?
Now, who decides what someone's worth?
Who decides what one is worth is the market. In other words, if you make a correct decision, you'll make profits, and if you make a bad decision, you won't make profits. But who decides that? It sort of comes from within. It's based on human capital and physical capital. The question is, let's say right now your factory making shoes produces, $1,000 an hour. And if you hire me, you'll get $1,006, and you attribute the extra 6 to me. Well, that means that my marginal revenue productivity is $6 an hour. Well, right now, the minimum wage law is $7.25 an hour, so I'm unemployed. Not very fair, not very nice, pretty vicious, actually, because I'm likely to be a teenage kid or an unskilled person, and I can't get any job, and I can't learn on-the-job training because no one will hire me. That's vicious. You see, a lot of people think minimum wage law is like a floor under wages, and the higher you raise it, the higher wages go. No. The minimum wage law is a high jump bar over which you have to jump to get a job, and the higher it is, the harder it is to jump over it.
So you're saying if we raise the minimum wage again, that doesn't mean that people making $10 an hour now, they will start making more money?
If we raise it again, say from $7.25 to 10, then all the people from $7.25 to 10 right now will lose their jobs. Not in 1 second, but eventually they'll all lose their jobs if nothing else changes. So it's a vicious, depraved, immoral law. It attacks the weakest economic actors in the whole society. It's just preposterous and horrible, and we shouldn't have it because it's an unemployment law. It's not an employment law. Now, we say that the average unemployment rate is, I don't know, 8 or 9%. The shadow statistics say it's more like 13%. But if you look at the smaller segments of the labor market, look at unskilled workers. Like, for example, adults are more productive than kids because they've got more experience. The unemployment rate of kids is twice adults. The unemployment rate of black people is twice as high as white people because for various historical reasons, black people have lower productivity on average. And the unemployment rate for blacks is twice what it is for whites. And if you add it both together, the unemployment rate for black teenagers is quadruple. It's vicious. It's up in the stratosphere, 40, 50, 60%, and it's really even higher, except for the discouraged worker phenomenon. That is, when you stop looking for a job, they don't count you as unemployed anymore. So if they counted that, the unemployment, it's horrendous.
So what do you say about low-wage workers who are saying, I cannot live off this $7.25 an hour?
Well, which is better, 0 or $7.25 an hour? In my mathematic training, $7.25 an hour is better than 0, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I think they realize it's compared to 0, but what about trying to live off that? Do you believe people shouldn't be living off these kind of jobs?
I think that people should not have to live off $7.25. They should have to. Everyone should make $50 an hour. But the point is that productivity is a very important part of the wage determination. Indeed, wages are determined by productivity. The reason LeBron James gets so much money is because he's got productivity. He can put rear ends in seats. The reason you and I earn middle-class salaries, I presume, is because our productivity is middle class. The reason people who ask if you want fries with that have lower productivity, or who push a broom have lower productivity and make lower wages, productivity is what determines wages. Yeah, and you just can't pass a law. Look, if the minimum wage law was so great, why be so niggardly? Why stop at $10 an hour? Why not raise it to 20, 30, 50? Then, according to this theory, we'd all be rich with a stroke of a legislative pen. I mean, Obama says he's got a pen and a telephone. Let him raise it to $1,000 an hour.
So you're saying raising it's not the answer?
Raising it, not only is raising it not the answer, but keeping it is not the answer. If the question is how do we stop unemployed of disadvantaged workers, the thing to do is to eliminate it entirely. And
you say more people will have jobs?
Absolutely more people will have jobs.
But some of them could be making $6 an hour.
$6 an hour is better than 0. Right now they're making 0. Don't tell me 0 is so good. When you say, well, how can you live on $2 an hour? Well, how can you live on 0 an hour? $2 an hour is better than 0.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Block. We're out of time, but you made some very interesting points, and thanks for being here to represent your decision. Don't go far. There's much more of the 504 when we return.